lesson we're going to be extending our understanding and knowledge of Microsoft Excel, and we have looked at in the previous lessons how to set up a basic spreadsheet, and we have put in our final column a formula that calculates the total for each student. So what we really should do is change this to be the word total. It's not actually an average anymore. You'll notice that if you want to get something to appear in the middle of a cell, you can do that. At the moment, these are all left justified, so they're appearing on the left hand side. So let's make it look slightly nicer. We will highlight that and tell it we want it to appear in the middle. So up there you can choose your formatting where it says center, and those are all now appearing in the middle, which looks a little bit nicer. Right, now we've got the total, and maybe what would also be a good idea just to highlight a total so it stands out. So again, you can either change its font, you could bold it, you could even, if you like, change it and make it a different color. So we could say, well, we'll have the total all in red, so that stands out nicely. So it's quite just a matter of selecting it and then choosing what color you want there from the drop down, and it'll change to that color. But I'd like to tell you now about another really powerful feature. At the moment we've looked at formulas. So a formula is something that starts with an equal sign, and you can then use plus, minus, divide, and just about anything you can think of. But a lot of formulas are already built in. So they are built in because there are certain things that we like to do over and over again. So for example, average is one of those. So let's say we do want to work out the average. So let's put average down here, and we want to see what was the average for each test. So we could do that by putting in a formula that says equals that, plus 89, plus, all the way down, and then divide it by the number of rows or the number of students. The problem with that is that if you added another student, you would have to change your formula. So at the moment, we've got 6 students, so we would divide by 6, but if you added another student, you'd have to divide by 7. Rather than do that, you use what's called functions. So functions are like special pre-written formulas. And very simple, all you do is, in order to enter a function, again, you start with the equal sign, and I want to use the average function. Now, as soon as I start typing, you'll notice it actually brings up a long list of functions, and there are many of them, and you can click on them to find out more. So we want the average function, there it is, and so equals average and open brackets. And you can now get more information on that function simply by clicking it. And basically how most functions work, it'll tell you what the parameters are for that function. And so what we want is we want the average of everything in this column starting here. So we want the average from B2. We put a colon to indicate the end of the range down to B7, and you'll see how it's highlighted that. Close brackets, average B2 to B7, and it has immediately put that average down there. So that has calculated the average for us automatically. Now what is good about that, as I said, if you had to insert another row, we'll do that in a moment, you'll notice that the average changes. You don't have to change how many are actually here. So let's take this moment to insert another row. To insert another row, just click wherever you would like to insert the row, and then right click, and you will notice it comes up with an option to insert rows. Clicking insert row, and it inserts a row for you. So you can now put another person into your list, and you can put their marks. Now notice, as soon as I put a mark for this person, and let's put their mark as low so we can see an impact, 40, and immediately you see how it changed. So that has been incorporated into our formula. So immediately it's been incorporated in the formula, we don't have to worry about it anymore. Now you'll see we're missing the total here. They don't have a total. Why is that? Because when we inserted the row, it didn't automatically drop the formula down here. We need to tell it to do that. So quite simply, click on the formula you want, choose copy, and say we'd like that formula to be put over there, click there, and choose paste. And as easy as that, we now know Mary's total, and we also know the total for test 1. Now we'd like to have that same total appear for test 2 and for the exam, and ultimately what was the average overall for the class. So again, just as we've seen, you click on the item you want to copy, you choose copy, you then click on the first part of the range, and then holding down shift you move to the end of the range and press paste. And there we have the formula. So we can see overall these are the averages for test 1, 2, exam, and total. Now, as we said earlier, that doesn't look so good, because who wants to know that the average is 70.6142857? We would like to make it shorter. We would like to decrease that number of decimal points, so we highlight them, click on the first cell, click Shift, and as I said before, this is a number that we're dealing with. In fact, if you go down to the bottom, you can see more number format. It'll show you all the different categories. So if I want to change the number of decimal places, I'll say it as a number, and I don't want any decimal places, so I choose 0. And there are other options you can also choose here. Clicking OK, and there we go. That looks a lot better. So maybe the last thing we will do is just make it go into bold. And so there we have it. We've used some functions which are very powerful. There's a whole range of functions. You can see there's even one up here called auto sum. You can count, and many more functions that you can use, and they really save you time. So that is functions and what it enables us to do in Microsoft Excel.